Hello, Calm Sage family. I welcome you all to another episode of Speak Your Mind, the Judgment Free Zone, a one of a kind platform that not only aims at creating awareness but also acceptance and love among the masses. How? By bringing field experts and individuals with experiences here to share their stories with us. So, what are we going to talk about today, Anjali?
Hmm, Let me give you some hints. So, it's the month of June and Calm Sage is dipped in rainbow. Any guesses?
Celebrating Pride?
Yes, Swarnakshi, you guessed it right. We are not going to miss any opportunity to celebrate Pride Month. Joining us in our celebration of Pride Month, today we have with ourselves a very special guest who, with his expertise, will make you aware, and with his story, he's sure to open room for acceptance. And his charm is sure to make you understand the power underlying the phrase love is love.
With that said, I welcome Karan Vig, the guest speaker of the day. Karan is a fashion designer, an English lecturer, and one of the youngest fashion icons in the country. Karan has been out and proud about his sexual orientation. He has been actively educating society with his talks and encouraging many other people of the community from around the globe. So, we welcome you, Karan.
Thank you so much for welcoming me. I'm really feeling proud to be a part of the Pride family today. And thanks a lot for having me, guys.
Okay, Karan.
You're
So
welcome.
before we begin, I want to share my fangirl moment with you and our audience, and also with you, Swarnakshi. So it was nearly 2 years back when I was attending my first TED talk ever, and Karan happened to have his first TED talk ever on that particular day and on that platform. And the moment he entered in the hall, I went awestruck, and that feeling still holds with me. I was just mesmerized and enchanted by his charm and the way he carried himself in that sari. So poised, so elegant. It just reminded me of one of his favorite, sari role model, that is Rekha ji, and you actually reflected just like her. So beautiful and amazing. So that was my fangirl moment. And I don't know if you're aware of the Instagram reel trend, which goes like, no.
No, I don't believe in soulmates. But तेरी नजरों ने दिल का किया जो हसर असर ये हुआ.
So that's exactly how I felt when I saw you for the first time. So, of course, apart from your, looks and the way you carried yourself, everything you said did mesmerize me. But it did leave many questions unanswered in my heart and mind. So today, I thank Calm Sage and of course you, Karan, for organizing and for being a part of this talk session where I'll get answers not only for myself but for other people from the LGBTQIA community. And that's the aim of this talk session. So I'll start by putting my first question forward, which is from our first interaction. It goes like, our gender is not what we are assigned at birth, it is what we desire to be. I think that this statement given by you is very powerful. But would you like to throw some light on the same and navigate us through your journey of being what you desire to be? Over to you, Karan.
First of all, I would like to thank you for introducing me in such a profound way that I'm too humbled for that. And next, I would like to say that when you were singing about the song and you were mentioning about that song, I felt like doing like Deepika Padukone, the fan moment kind of a thing. But thank you so much for introducing me in such a sweet, sweet gesture. I really owe my lives to you guys. That still there are people who really understand you in a very perfect way. That they do not assume, they do not presume. They rather play by their emotions. They do not have some kind of certain kind of feelings which are not aligned by their mindset or by their society. They go by their hearts. So that is the first and the foremost thing, that You do not listen to what Instagram trends say. You do not listen to what your neighbors would say, but basically you go by your heart. So that is the first thing which I would like to start with. When people are really presuming things, people are really making out things based on what society says. I think we are the ones who are creating the society. We are not the ones who are run by them. We are the ones who make it run. So when we say that heteronormativity, which I was also mentioning in my TEDx talk as well, that heteronormativity vis-a-vis the gender, cisgender kind of a concept and the normativity which we have in our mindset, that cisgender is a kind of a concept that you go by whatever gender you were assigned at your birth. It's not like that. You grow up, you understand your sexuality, you realize what you are, and then you try to comply with that. When you are in a society where people, where society is judged by some kind of stereotypical mindsets, where they have already a preconceived notion that, okay, blue is for boys, pink is for girls. And again, then there's a preconceived notion that a boy can only marry a girl. Whereas the preconceived notions are hooked up inside the brains of the kids that no, this is not which is correct. This is the correct way. You are the ones who are creating the progenies, the posterities of our country into such a way that we are going to give them directions. Like you guys have seen a horse, right? It has blinders all over. So you put a blinder to the person's mind that see what is straight, do not look left, do not look right. When you are putting a blinders in somebody's eyes, I don't think that they'll be able to explore their identity. But some people also mention that you might have gone through something bad in your childhood or teenagers, that you might have felt the change of being homosexual. But it's not like that. If that particular person would not have helped you explore your sexuality, who touched you for the first time, maybe it was somebody else. Maybe it was not meant to be like that. But everything has a time, place, and circumstances role. So when you have all these kinds of things playing according to the societal norms, according to the nature norms, you can't change it. Basically, you are nobody to change thanks to pandemic. You can see it all over outside now. You cannot change what nature has in store for you. So when you cannot decide, when you cannot think, when you cannot explore, you can basically sit, relax, and let the things come to you. When the things come to you, you're able to explore it yourself. You're able to realize yourself. You're able to put a point on that, yes, that you belong to the LGBTQ community, and where you put as a pointer to yourself. It's not that human being is like men and females only. It's all longitude and the altitude kind of a behavior where you can lie anywhere in between. And when you can lie anywhere in between, that means you have an option to choose that are you an ally to the community or are you just belonging to the community.
That was really wonderful, because what you were saying, I could imagine myself, because I identify as a demisexual and I fit on that asexual spectrum. So what you are saying is really means a lot to me, because I had a very hard time realizing that about myself. So thank you, Karan. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. People relate themselves in demisexuals and sapiosexuals as well. But when people realize that what basically it means, then they're like, you feel closer to a person when you're emotionally connected, or you're connected through intelligence, then people are like, they are faking it out. But they do not know that anyone can have any kind of sexual behavior, sexual mindset. You are nobody to judge it.
Exactly.
Stop judging. It's just sexuality. It's just the clothes you're wearing. Why do you have to put judgment on them? Go fight for the COVID now. Go get some hospitals for us. Go get some oxygens for us. Rather than fighting on a very petty issue in India that COVID, that's later stage. First, we need to fight about homosexuality. Welcome to the 21st century.
That's really I don't have words to say, because my friends, when I told them that I identify as demisexual, they all told me, okay, so we all feel that. I mean, it's not a really big thing, but to me it was a really big thing, because the first time I encountered a sexual encounter, I freaked out, because it was just not meant to be, and no one near me understood why I was freaking out. I think this is really important for people to understand.
True.
So, what I want to ask you now is, I'm a big reader, right? And I've heard this quote going around a lot. J.K. Rowling said it, that if Harry Potter has taught us one thing, it is that no one should live in a closet. So, what do you think is the most difficult part? Do you have anything to say about this?
I think this is the portion when J.K. Rowling started writing her Twitter posts about the Harry Potter book, and she always kind of clearly mentions in the book itself, if you have read the whole series, if you have watched the whole series, that Dumbledore himself is represented as a gay role model for people. The way he talks, the way he reacts to the situations, the way he spells magical charms on people, it's very feminine in nature. So there was a post which was reviewed on internet quite a few years ago as well, that yes, he aligns himself to the LGBTQ community. And I think there were many people in Hogwarts that time that they assigned themselves as from the LGBTQ community, but it was not openly talked about in the books because the bans would go on. So the closet things come from J.K. Rowling's portion, where you can see the central character when he's living with his aunt and uncle. He lives in a very small closeted room, and he's really struggling. Listen to the bold points, okay? He has a very struggling situation. He's suffocated inside. Okay, if you guys don't know that there's a concept of a box room outside India. So a box room is a very small room where there's just a bed, and this portion just to move in. They're very 5 by 6, a very small room to align yourself. When you have such a room to yourself, that is a closet. And when you are suffocated inside, when you cannot breathe in properly, turn off the lights, switch off the fans, you'll feel that suffocation inside. And that suffocated moment was felt by our central character in Harry Potter as well. And when he feels that, he's the one who's the central leader who gets out from his place. He goes out and fights the community, the society on a very basic norm. But then we can relate it to the homosexuality as well, that if you are in a closet, if you are in a room where there's no oxygen, where there's suffocation going on, I think that is what the community people in the LGBT go through. They're not suffocated only in a room, they're suffocated inside their own body, which is their soul. When they do not realize about their own selves, because according to the caste theory, Vivian Cass gave a theory in 1979 talking about there are 6 stages of knowing yourself. First, it's like identity crisis, and then you basically have a compassion in yourself, and then you have a confusion. You have created a confusion in your mindset, first step, where you do not know, where you cannot understand what your sexuality basically is. And then when you try to understand that situation, that might be that you belong to the LGBTQ community, and then you start comparing yourself. The second stage comes when you start comparing yourself. And when the comparison comes, then you feel that I do not feel attraction towards the heterosexual, the other gender, but I feel towards the same gender. I think then the second step takes over to you, and then you start feeling that I think you should be a tolerant part of your own community. And then the third step comes, which is the tolerance. The third stage is a very struggling stage for the people who tell themselves as the members of the LGBT community, because they have to tolerate the society. And when the tolerance stage is there, which is a third identity crisis stage, you are really able to think that, are we tolerating things just outside, or are we tolerating something which is going inside ourselves? I think that is the point where we start thinking about that. tolerance is something which is not only outwards, it's internal as well. And when you start tolerating things, and then the fourth steps come, the fourth stage is accepting yourself. And when you start accepting yourself, you start Googling things, you start finding out allies to your community. You start finding out people who think like yourself, who talk like yourself, who are allies to your society. And when you are feeling like very closely acceptable to the society, then you start feeling like, oh, thank God there's a kind of niche group who accepts me. Talk about transgenders. When they start thinking about their sexuality, and then all of a sudden when they come to the fourth stage, they find something which is very relaxing to them. They find something that, oh, there's somebody who is just like me. But it's a very long process. It doesn't mean that for some people it's a very long gradual process. For some people it's a very quick moment. For me it was very quick. I did not come out from a family. I was made out. People read my diary, my family members. So for some it is a very gradual process. It is slowly and steadily within the days. But for me it was all of a sudden when I was not prepared. And when you're not prepared for something and then the thunderstorm falls upon you, I think that is the point when you fail to comply with the society norms that, oh, what should we do now? And then the fourth stage, the third stage doesn't matter to you. The fourth stage of acceptance comes when it's the gradual process, and then all of a sudden you start feeling pride in yourself. And that is the fifth stage. And when you start feeling pride in yourself, the word pride itself means that you are proud of yourself. You can be talking to people, but then you start deciding that to whom you're going to talk about. For example, as you were mentioning that you were gender sexual, you would have definitely chosen a group of people who know about your sexuality. And that is what we do. We start seeing the group of people that, okay, these are the group of people I'm going to talk about. For example, just at my workplace, or just my family, or just my close group of friends who know about the sexuality. I can be very feminine in front of them, and I can be very masculine in front of the others. So these kind of two different duplicity you start getting into your own lives. And then the final stage comes, which is the stage of identity synthesizes. When your acceptance and your pride come in a perfect mutual harmony with each other. You synthesize with your thoughts, with your society. People accept you or not, you don't worry about it. When the pride stage comes, you probably think that homosexuals are the only people I'm going to talk to. I'm not going to talk to heterosexuals. They do not understand me. Then there's a breakage of synthesizers. And then when the synthesizers happen in the next last stage, which is the seventh stage, you feel okay. I don't mind you say or not. I'm okay if you accept me or not. I'm okay with the heterosexuals. I'm okay with the homosexuals. That is the point of nirvana. You understand, that's fine. Take me as I am, or I don't care. I'm in the last stage.
I don't know if this is relevant, but do you think there is a risk of internalized homophobia in any of the stages?
Yes. I would love to talk about it. There are many people. Okay, when it was a Pride month last year, I was asked to make a video on from the Instagram page, something not a famous page, Pride memes, something like that. So I was asked to send a video of me dancing on one of the songs by, I'm a very bad person to remember things. So there was some song going on, I think it was Katy Perry or something, on Pride. It was a Pride song. So I had to be a part of it. All the LGBTQ icons all over India had to be a part of it. And I saw there's so many people who are a part of the LGBT community and then they're open about it. Some people have beard on their chest, or the hairy chest and the beard as well. And some are very masculine, some are too feminine, some are lesbians, come boys. They have butch attitude, they have femme attitude, and there's so many people. But at the same time, you look at their profiles, scrolling your mobile like, okay. That kind of internal homophobia, look at him, how is he dressed up? That's too feminine. If you are not feminine, that doesn't mean that the LGBTQ person from combining in the community is not feminine. As I already mentioned, a big gap in between, people can lie anywhere in the spot. You cannot pinpoint, you cannot forget that person is here, that person is there. When you do not have acceptance within your own queer community, stop thinking about others. When you have that acceptance, when in your own communities you start feeling relaxed, that okay, I can be myself, I don't care about the community. You know, it happens that in your family, when your parents accept you, you don't fear about anything else. That is the same internalized fear which you are talking about. When you have a community, for example, I follow ISKCON, right? So when I go to the ISKCON temples, I feel very close in a community, like, oh, that's a family to me. Everybody is similar to me. Everybody wears the same tilak. Everybody wears the same garment. Everybody sings the same arti. Everybody is adoring the same God. Similarly, happens with the other community people as well. So when you go to a particular community where people align to your identity, align to your thoughts, align to your bent of imagination, you feel a part of it. So when people cannot feel a part of it, being in the community, they start getting off. They start breaking off. And then that is the point where people start taking the bad reactions, the bad steps. They die. That is the only reason to them. That is the only thing that they can. The societal pressures are created by the society itself. And that is not the external society always. That's the internal society sometimes.
I'll just take a moment to thank you, Karan, because I wasn't aware of this 6 or 7-step process, and the way you explained it was very beautiful. And it is something very insightful, something very new to me, and I think something very new to our audience as well. So thank you so much for sharing this process with us.
That is for the first time that is for the first time I've mentioned about it, because I've never mentioned about this caste theory in any of my talks. So that makes the talk special as well.
Yes, we are lucky, with the lucky batch. Thank you so much.
We really are. So my next question to you is that I agree that everyone's coming out journey is different and unique, right? But would you like to share some tips with us that can help other people who are struggling with accepting their sexuality, their coming out, anything that can help them remain strong mentally and emotionally?
I think the first and the very foremost rule of accepting is everybody has a friend zone, and everybody has a special friend zone. Choose the best friend, pick up that person whom you have trusted. I know it's very difficult to find trusted person these days, but at least somebody whom you can trust, and that person is not going to lure out your secret until you are ready. I know so many straight men who are married. They consider themselves as straight, but then they need a gay guy to satisfy themselves as well. I have their secrets on me. I don't want to make it out. I don't want to lure them out. I don't need to tell their identity or their sexual pleasures to anyone. But pick out somebody whom you can trust in. Second step would be you are prepared mentally to tell. And I think it takes a lot of courage to come out. A lot of courage. But then when you have that kind of courage in yourself, be prepared for the negative comments. If you're not prepared to take the negative comments, do not take the second step. Do not go and talk about it. You might accept a reaction like, oh, that's so cute. It might not be the situation with you. Then do not judge that particular person behaving or making your mind upon the reaction what he or she has given. It's fine. they need some time to realize. Or it can be the other way around, that they're like, darling, I already knew it. So if that kind of situation comes, then you're lucky to go. Otherwise, it can be a typical situation for you. And then when you have come out to a society of a very selective kind of a group of people, then try understanding your sexuality in such a way that now your second step should be two very, very important things, which I did in my life. Somebody told me when I was struggling with my sexuality in London. See, when I went to London, I came out very openly. Otherwise, it would not have been possible to me. I used to say I'm bisexual in India. I don't know for what reasons I used to mention it. I've never had any sexual encounter with a girl in my life. But just society, so pressures and like, am I sexual? But when you move out of society, when you realize that, everybody's accepting people in London, everybody's open about it in London, then you're like, that's normal. So two things which you should keep in mind, the ones who are coming out, who are planning to come out, have a very strong background financially. If you do not have, earn, fight for it. And second thing is, if you have a societal name, make your name in society. Do something that people remember you on the third day of your death and the year later as well. That there should be condolences, speeches going on everywhere when you die. Just be like a celebrity in your own particular niche, in your own particular group, that people remember you. That was a person I can never find in my life. People won't remember what color of sari I was wearing. People won't remember what kind of jewelry I was wearing. People won't remember what kind of makeup I was wearing, if I was. But people will remember only one thing: how I behaved with them, how I reacted to their situation, to their plights when they were upset, how I was standing next to them when there was nobody who was standing next to them. So be helpful, be kind, be concentrated. That it's really fine that Instagram is a fake world, but you need to drop down to a certain level to make yourself available to people. You do not know what celebrities do in their private lives. Coming out and helping people in the COVID times, that's really fine, but you don't know why and for what particular personal reasons they're doing it. There are many celebrities who are not coming forward in the front lines. That doesn't mean that they're not helping the COVID people. So do not believe on what Instagram says. It's just a part of artificial intelligence. Even Tinder today says, you have swiped left a potential match. Being a kind of artificial intelligence, you know who is better for me. So that's the goal we are moving in the 21st century.
Thank you so much for saying that.
Yes, thank you. It was, I think, really important. Also, I would like to mention out of context that I do remember the first time when I saw you, the sari that you were wearing and the jewelry that you were carrying. So I remember you from both the points, the way you carry yourself and how humble you are.
Mostly I wear white and pearls, so that's a very easy thing to remember.
No, but that was again very, not just insightful, but very emotional as well. I was just, taken aback for the moment to understand that, yes, not only if you are coming from the community, but otherwise also I think these are some factors that we need to ensure that we are practicing in our daily life. Being kind, compassionate, and there for the other person. So thank you so much for touching upon these factors. So this brings me to my next question, Karan, that we were slightly touching on the family aspect and the friends aspect. Fine. So we are social in nature. Human beings are social in nature. So what do you think is the role of, social support here? And would you like to share some pointers with people so that they can be supportive of people coming from LGBTQI++ community? Because I think people celebrate Pride for a month. They host the flag, they change their GPs, they are putting a post. But Pride is something, according to me, that you need to celebrate each day of your life instead of just celebrating it for a month. And support here, whether it's coming from family or friends, is very critical. So how do you think that people can offer support and be, LGBTQILEs that we...
I think the support comes from heart. It doesn't come from the societal agendas of getting famous. What I mean is that there's something called trend in society. Instagram Reels, some dances going on, some remixes going on. Everybody starts doing it, so that if you click on the audio, you'll get all those audios which are in trend. LGBTQ, PRIDE, GAY, homosexual, hashtags. My profile will be visible to people. Let me put some rainbow flags, and let me put some he, she, it, they, them, or rainbow in my profile and bio. Just a 1 month course, I'll do it. Let's just get away with that. That is what some people think. But do you even realize that what that particular flag means? Do you even know that each color symbolizes something? Do you even know that what particular agenda this community has? What kind of particular fear that a particular person in the community goes through? What kind of, upsetness, what kind of mental pressure that particular person goes on when he's in the community? When you do not know all these things, you always start following the trends like a blind sheep falling in the pit. You need to make yourself one thing very clear. Do something by heart, not for the trends. I have seen, sorry to say, but girls not being an ally to the society. They're like, to me, I'm not sure that if you might have seen my formal pictures as well, like dressed up in a very formal suit and all. So some girls say it, and some they get fascinated by that as well. And then they say that, oh, you're such a beautiful man, why do you dress up like a woman? I said, none of your business first. And then when you have such kind of a brain, why I should be a part of it? When you're just thinking about, you might not get attention by somebody else, that's why you're looking for me to give attention to you. So if you call yourself as an ally to the community, if you yourself call as an he, she, it, putting, and thank you so much for doing it. But at least we have got 1 month on ourselves, not like Mother's Day and Father's Day, which is celebrated just once a year. At least a month to us. So I have seen my profile is, like full of messages for talk show. So I was like, I am just going to do it until the 15th. And then after 15th, I'm going to go on a break. 15 days for the community, 15 days for myself. I'm going to go stay in Vrindavan. I need my relaxing time as well. But the kind of schedule we need to follow is, I am not doing something for to get something paid. I'm doing it to make people aware. If you are aware of your sexuality, if you are not aware of your sexuality, if you're thinking to think upon your sexuality, listen to the talks. Not only mine, but about the community. Start doing a research on it. Start reading the gay literature. You'll find about it. In India, it's been in our history ever since. There are two girls sitting in Ram Mohan Roy's painting, and then you're like, oh, do you think best friends talking? Who told you that? Ram Mohan Roy yourself? No, it might be two lesbians sitting closely there. She's touching her genitals, and is there somebody who's a straight girl who touch somebody else's genitals? No. So we have created a mindset that people are, as I told you in the beginning, blinders. We put a blinder to people. No, it's not this way. It's the other way around. Because I don't know why. Why you don't want to have a second perspective to it? Have an open perspective. Have an open mindset. I think people will understand you more.
Okay, so I want to add to this. I read Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, if you have heard of the book, right? Simon says that why should straight be the default?
Yes.
Right? And that's the one thing that I have used ever since I've read that book. Why should straight be the default? Why should we assume that this person is straight? Why can't we assume the other way?
Exactly. So always a coin has a two flip sides as well, heads and tails, black and white, light and darkness. So why not homosexual and heterosexual?
I agree completely with you. So my next question is that, Karan, if I were to ask you to explain three important pillars that would make acceptance and awareness of the rainbow flag community smooth in our society, what would they be?
I think the first and the foremost thing which I would like to talk about is educating the youth, educating the community about the LGBTQ people. People do not even know about it. People do not even understand what an LGBTQ is. People think that gay means transgender. The one who is cross-dressing also means transgender. The one who is a transgender definitely means transgender. The one who is a transvestite definitely means transgender. They do not know the difference between it, and then there is a very little thin line difference between these people. Then they think like, okay, put everybody in one bag. As they do in their homes as well. They're going to buy some fruits and vegetables. They pick one basket and then put everything inside. And that's what they do with the sexualities as well. They pick up a basket, they put everything together. And that is for them taboo. It's a ban. Don't talk about it. Don't discuss about it. So that is one thing which I will say, educating the youth. The second and the foremost, important thing which I was thinking about, the point should be empathic about the community. You should have such an empathy towards the community that you feel an ally to them. And empathy comes with an understanding. So when you're educated, all the theories which I've derived or understood always have a link from the previous one, as I was mentioning in the caste theory as well. So everything is linked. See, it's all science. It's all basically stepwise understanding, because you know what, people always believe in 2 + 2 = 4. If you say them 2 + 2 = 4, they won't understand. You need to explain them why. You put 1, you put 2 = 4. Why not 5? So you need to put everything on a geometrical level. You put everything on a scientific level. That's why they will understand. If you put the kind of the Big Bang theory was not even told to people, they would not have even understood that how the whole solar system was formed and created. But just because there were people, for example, Newton also gave this theory, and then when there were theories, people understood in a very particular way. Similarly, these LGBTQ things also have a theory behind it. So again, my second step comes from the first step. When you have educated the person, then you start feeling the empathy towards it. For example, if you do not know about what LGBTQ means, you'll be like, that's fine, yeah. That's normal. You don't know what kind of pains we go through, but you are educated about it. You know what pains we go through. Then you will feel a feeling towards us. And that is called being empathy. So the first step, being educated. The second, being educated for the LGBTQ people. The second is having an empathy towards it. And third is celebrating pride. And when you celebrate pride, when you are educated, you are being empathetic to the person, and then you tell others as well, that's really fine to be gay. I know it's really fine. You should also know it's fine. You educate the third person. You are allied to me. Now, after the talk, you go and tell, no. Gay people are not like that. If you touch them, it will be transferred to you. It's not COVID. It's not something transferable. It's really fine. You teach them. When we were celebrating the first Pride month in Jaipur, the first Pride parade. I think it was in 2015 or so. So we were calling people, to be a part of the Pride parade in Jaipur. So people were running away and they were like, no, you will also make us gay. basically transgender, because they were male transgenders. And I was like, yes, we're going to make a little portion. We're going to add 50% of this, 50% of this, and give a portion to you, and then you drink it and you become gay. What do you think that we drink something, like we go to a medicinal shop and then say, "Bhaiya, gay banane ki medicine de do." It's not like that. So we are born this way. We are not recreating. I do not have a scientific lab in my home that I create some potions and go and give it to people to drink and then they become gays on the other day. All of a sudden you start having an erection towards a boy. No, it doesn't happen this way. So at least try to understand and have some brains. Yeah, come on, that it's not this way. And the third important thing when I was talking about being pride, the main portion, the main head point of it is inclusivity. When you have an inclusive behavior towards it, you, me, we all are together. And that's how we make a community. So education, empathy, and celebrating pride.
Thank you so much, Karan, for saying that. That is really, really like something that people should understand. Thank you.
So again, Karan, thank you. I think you adding the touch of humor will make it more understandable. And viewers, please make a note of these 3 pointers because the change starts from us. And now, Karan, although I wish this session never comes to an end, but sadly, here we are with my last question for the day. And it goes like, if you have any message for our viewers that can help them bring a change in their life, big or small, please share it with us and enlighten us one more time.
I think we all have been the strugglers in our lives, right? When you struggle from something, when a mother struggles from the labor pain, she tells her daughter all the things which she needs to take care of. I think we who have been the strugglers of our time become like that mother, become like that parent to the people who are trying to come out to society and being allied with them. That yes, we stand by you. We can feel your pain. I receive so many messages every time on Instagram saying that please help me, I'm gay, and all kind of messages you can understand. That please help me come out. And one of my clients who live in California called me up the other day and he was like, Karan, I was thinking of coming out to society and especially to my parents, and I was thinking the best person to talk to is you. And I told him only one thing, that darling, you're doing no harm to society. There's no problem in you. There's a problem in the society you are in. You are okay. Society is not. And always remember one crucial thing. Difficult times, problems will come every time. But after that storm, there's a beautiful rainbow waiting for you there. You'll go, have a witness of it, and then you'll find the liberation, the soul liberated. So wait for that rainbow, think of that rainbow, and start coming out. Thank you.
Amazing. Another time you've just enchanted me. Thank you so much, Karan.
It really is. Thank you, Karan. Thank you so much for joining us and enchanting us with your words and your humbleness and your guidance. I don't know how grateful I am to share this session with you. I wish you all the love, support, and strength for life. Thank you so much, Karan.
For having me on the talk show and letting me talk about my ideas, and so that it may reach millions of others, hopefully through this video.
Thank you. Hope for the same. Thank you so much. And cut. Thank you. Before we leave, I would like to share a small message with our viewers. Don't just lift the rainbow flag for a day. Don't just update your DP with colors for a day. Don't just celebrate Pride for a month. When you can simply celebrate Pride and show acceptance each day of your life by being kind and making the other person feel inclusive irrespective of their sexual orientation. After all young people, irrespective of their sexual orientation, deserve a safe and supportive environment to achieve their fullest potential.
Yes, Why reduce our lives to black and white and miss out on the rainbows? Do give it a thought, as it's sure to move you. Up until next time, take care, stay safe, and keep spreading love.
Thank you.